Shalom alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and Boker Tov. We will be responding to a article by Drake Alden Shelton, his 166 theses against the Jews, the Hebrew roots, the Ephraimites, the Muslims, and the premillennialists. And we will specifically be responding to Jeremiah 31, Theses 1, Theses 33, and Theses 34. And the first thesis, it says the Jews cannot evade the force of Jeremiah 31, verses 31 to 34, which clearly indicates that the Torah is insufficient and thus revision is required. And he quotes John Owen, and I'll read only the section he himself highlighted. If they do grant it, I desire to know of them what sacrifices this covenant shall be established, by what priest, with what worship it shall be administered. And if they say it shall be done by the sacrifices, priests, and worship of the law, they deny what they granted before, namely that it was a new and another covenant. For the sacrifices and priests of the law cannot confirm or administer any other covenant but that which they belonged and are confined unto. Okay, so if we actually read Jeremiah 31, there is no mention of a new sacrificial system, only that the covenant is in some sense different or new than the old one. In fact, Jeremiah 33 verse 18 confirms that the Levitical priesthood continues. It says, "Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually." So, and secondly, we can go to Jeremiah 31. Now, this is the verse they like to use a lot. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the houses of Israel and the houses of Yehudah." And the verse they like to use a lot is, "not according to the covenant which I made with their fathers." However, they ignore the next part of the verse where it says, "In the day that I took them out of the land of Egypt." Right? "In the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord." So if we actually read what it says there, right, Christians and Drake Shelton like to appeal to the part of the verse where it says, "not according to the covenant I made with their fathers," while ignoring the rest of the passage where it says, "in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt." What is the significance of this? The new covenant isn't like the covenant they made with their fathers in that it isn't made under the same set of circumstances. So he's arguing that it's teaching a new covenant with a new priesthood that's a different priesthood than the previous one. Rather, it's teaching that the new covenant isn't made under the same set of circumstances as the previous one. So what exactly is new about this new covenant? There's no collective punishment for sin. See Jeremiah 31, 29 to 30. "In those days shall no more the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth a sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge." It also teaches that there'll be universal knowledge of Hashem. We see in Jeremiah 31, verses 34, "And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For they shall all know me from the least of them to the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more." So, now let us go to Theses 33. "If the Old Testament prophecies are all to be fulfilled literally, Gentiles are outside of salvation because the new covenant is made with the houses of Judah and Israel." Jeremiah 31, verse 31, and Hebrews 8, verse 8. First, Gentiles can join the covenant by converting to Judaism. See Exodus 12:49, Esther 8:17. And the New Testament itself makes several mentions of converts to Judaism. Secondly, this is an appeal to consequences fallacy. The national character of the new covenant is simply what the text teaches. If this is a problem, there's really nothing you can do about it. The chapter itself makes it clear that the new covenant is national and political in nature. "Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon for the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea, and when the waves thereof roar, the Lord of hosts is his name. If these ordinances depart from me, thus saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall cease to be a nation from me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if the heaven can be measured and the foundations of the earth can be searched out beneath, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord." So Jeremiah 31 is making it clear that the nation of Israel is perpetual and continual and won't be cast away. The common retort to this is that the seed of Israel is spiritual in nature. However, verses 18 to 20 makes mention of an actual literal tribe, the tribe of Ephraim, which is not spiritualized anywhere, either in the New Testament or Tanakh. Nowhere are Gentiles ever called spiritual Ephraimites. Jeremiah 31, 18 to 20 makes mention of the actual tribes. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus, Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to yoke. Turn thou to me, and I shall be turned, for thou art the Lord my God. Surely after this that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed, and I smote upon my thigh, and I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did hear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. The fact that the passage mentions the houses of Judah and Israel makes it clear that it is national in nature, as Judah and Israel were literal kingdoms that existed. And here's a picture of those kingdoms. This is the house of Israel. This is the house of Judah. If it was spiritual in nature, it wouldn't make a mention of two kingdoms, the houses of Judah and the houses of Israel. In fact, the northern tribes is often interchangeable with Israel, as we can see in Jeremiah 31, verse 9, And they shall come with weeping and supplications, I will lead them, and I will cause them to walk by the rivers of the waters in straight way, wherein they shall not stumble, for I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Then this is Theses 34. If the Ephraimites' Hebrew roots theology is true, then pursuant to Exodus 12:48, Isaiah 14:1-2, Isaiah 56 verses 4-8, Zechariah 8:22-23, a Gentile must geographically, culturally, and socially join the Jewish people who have rejected the Messiah for centuries and specifically hate white European people. But most Ephraimite Hebrew roots do not do this. On the contrary, most of them despise humanity and worship in their living rooms. He is right that joining the covenant would require converting to Judaism. However, that doesn't require relocating. It would only require traveling to Jerusalem for pilgrimage feasts. Nothing about this requires relocation. Modern technology like airplanes makes traveling to other countries way easier. And what about rejecting JC as the Messiah makes you a bad person? There is no commandment in the Torah to believe that some guy is the Messiah. JC himself acknowledges their authority in Matthew 23 and John 4:22. And then what evidence is there that Jews hate white people? I also forgot to mention where he talks about how if the new covenant is national, then Gentiles are outside salvation. Like I said, Gentiles can convert to Judaism. See Exodus 12:49 and Esther 8:17. So that was pretty simple. His arguments for his Christian view of the new covenant are false. We can see that the passage is referring to literal tribes and to literal countries that literally existed, not to spiritual things. And therefore, the new covenant is national and political in nature and not spiritual. And therefore, Drake Shelton and the Christians' view of the new covenant is therefore wrong. Thomas Christian signing out.